You know that moment when you get a message that says, "So, what are you doing tonight?" And your first reaction isn't excitement, it's a tiny wave of dread. Not because you hate the person, not because you're antisocial, but because deep down, you were already picturing yourself at home, lights low, phone on silent, wearing the same clothes you've had on since noon, and honestly, feeling good about it. If that sounds like you, stay with me, because today we're talking about the psychology of people who genuinely love staying at home. And no, this isn't about being lazy, boring, or wasting your life. It's about something much deeper that most people never stop to question. You see, we live in a world that quietly celebrates being out, being busy, being seen. If you're not posting stories, checking in somewhere new, or saying yes to plans, it almost feels like you're doing life wrong. And somewhere along the way, people who love staying home started getting labeled antisocial, unmotivated, scared, missing out. But what if that label is completely wrong? Think about that friend who cancels plans more than they keep them. The one who always says, "Can we do it another day?" Most people assume they're flaky or uninterested. But what if they're actually protecting something valuable? Their energy, their nervous system, their sense of balance. Here's the part nobody explains early enough. Not everyone gains energy the same way. Some people come alive in crowds. Noise energizes them. Conversation fuels them. They walk into a room full of people and feel switched on. That's real. But the opposite is also real. For others, every interaction, even the fun ones, costs energy. It doesn't mean they didn't enjoy it. It just means their internal battery drains faster. And home? Home is where that battery recharges. Psychologists have a name for this. It's tied to something called optimal arousal. In simple terms, everyone has a different comfort level for stimulation. Some nervous systems crave more input, sounds, movement, people, novelty. Others feel overwhelmed by the same things. When stimulation goes past a certain point, instead of excitement, it creates stress, restlessness, irritation, that subtle urge to escape. So when someone chooses to stay home, they're often not avoiding life. They're regulating themselves. And once you understand that, a lot of things start to make sense, like why being at home feels calming instead of boring, why silence doesn't feel empty, it feels full, why a quiet evening can feel more satisfying than a packed social calendar. For people like this, peace isn't something they're waiting for later in life. It's something they build daily. There's another layer here too, and it doesn't get talked about enough. Control. Out in the world, almost nothing is under your control. The noise, the crowds, the expectations, the awkward small talk where no one really listens to the answer. The pressure to react a certain way, laugh at the right moments, be on. Even when nothing bad is happening, your brain is constantly scanning, adjusting, managing. At home, all of that disappears. You choose the lighting, you choose the volume, you choose whether there's music, silence, or the same comfort show you've already seen 5 times. And for people who are sensitive, anxious, or deeply perceptive, that control isn't just nice, it's necessary. Their nervous system finally gets a break. That's why staying home can feel so grounding. It's not about hiding from the world, it's about returning to a baseline where you can actually hear yourself think. And here's something that might surprise you. Research consistently shows that people who enjoy solitude tend to score higher in creativity, introspection, and deep thinking. Because when you're not constantly reacting to external input, your mind starts to wander inward. Ideas connect, thoughts deepen, problems untangle themselves quietly. Staying home isn't doing nothing. It's often where the most meaningful mental work happens. Think about it. Some of your clearest realizations probably didn't happen at a party. They happened alone, late at night, or early in the morning, when the world was quiet enough for your thoughts to finally speak. But society doesn't really celebrate that version of fulfillment. We're taught that happiness looks loud, busy, public. If you're not out making memories, it can feel like you're falling behind. And that pressure creates guilt, especially for people who are actually happiest in low-key, familiar spaces. So they start questioning themselves. Am I boring? Am I wasting my life? Should I force myself to go out more? But here's the truth your brain already knows. Joy isn't one size fits all. For some people, a perfect night is a new place, new faces, new energy. For others, it's a familiar routine, a favorite mug, a couch that fits your body just right. the way the room feels when the day finally slows down. That's not settling, that's knowing yourself. Now, to be fair, not everyone who stays home does it for healthy reasons. And this part matters. Sometimes staying home isn't about peace, it's about avoidance, social anxiety, past experiences that taught your nervous system that the outside world isn't safe, depression that quietly drains motivation and makes everything feel heavier than it should. In those cases, home can become both a refuge and a prison, and the difference between the two is subtle but important. Ask yourself this: when you stay home, do you feel restored or stuck? Do you feel content or numb? One feels like choosing yourself, the other feels like shrinking. Loving solitude doesn't mean fearing growth, and enjoying staying home doesn't mean never challenging yourself. The healthiest people aren't the ones who never leave their comfort zone, they're the ones who know when to return to it. For people who truly love staying home, their joy comes from small, intentional moments, things most people overlook. The ritual of morning coffee, the way the light changes in the room during sunset, the comfort of repetition, the quiet satisfaction of a day that didn't demand too much. Their lives may look simple from the outside, but internally, they're rich. Psychologists sometimes describe this as a low stimulation preference. These people don't need constant novelty to feel alive. Their inner world is already active enough. They don't rely on external chaos to distract them from themselves. They're comfortable being alone with their thoughts. And that's powerful, because when you're not constantly chasing stimulation, you start noticing what actually matters to you. You build a relationship with yourself. You learn your rhythms. You stop performing and start existing. So if you're someone who turns down plans without guilt now, if a solo Saturday genuinely excites you, if staying home feels like a reward, not a punishment, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not missing out. You're opting in to depth, to calm, to a life that fits your nervous system instead of fighting it. And maybe the real question isn't why some people love staying home. Maybe it's why we ever decided that peace needed an explanation.